Hi guys, Dr. Mel here. We are busy with quantitative aspects. Get your pen ready, get your periodic table, get your information sheet and a piece of paper so that you can work with me. You have to be able to do these calculations, so please do it. Don't sit and watch as if you're watching a series or something else, which is entertainment. I'm also going to entertain you, but please work with me so that we can get these concepts done. Right, we're busy with moles. Now remember, the mole is a heap, and up till now we did the mass and we did the particles. We are now going to have a look at specifically gases and the volume that these gases fill. So there's a specific way of looking at volume of gases. Right, the one thing we do know is that 1 mole is exactly 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. That's the number of particles. And we know that when they did the measurement, they found the mass to be equal and relative to 12 grams. So you have to know your definition. You have to know Avogadro's number, or you don't have to know it. You'll find it on your periodic table and your information sheet. And we're now going to have a look at volume. Now, when we say we're working with volumes, we already did the phases of substances. So you know you get a solid. If you add heat to a solid, you get a liquid. And if you add more heat to a liquid, you'll get a gas. If you boil water in the kitchen, you'll start off with a liquid, you add heat, and the water molecules will become gas. So you know it's happening all the time. What we now want to know is what is the area or the volume that's being filled. Now, they also saw that if I have 1 mole of particles in here, in other words, 6 times 0, 2 times 10 to the 23, and I've written that number out in the previous lesson. So you know there's many particles in this volume. And if that is at a specific temperature, guys, it has to be at a specific temperature and it has to be at a certain pressure. And we'll look at that just now. If that is the case, then the molar volume will always be 22.4 cubic decimeter. Now let's quickly just get back to the calculation of volume. You've done this in previous grades, but I want to clarify. So what do we do when we calculate volume? We will always say volume is length times width times height. So I've got a cube drawn here. Let's say this is the height, this is the width, and this is the length. So it's a cube. So what you have here, if I ask you to calculate the volume, you're going to multiply the length with the width with the height. Now what we have now is the unit decimeter. Now you can see on this ruler that I've got here that the smallest unit here is millimeters. And if I have 10 millimeters there, I usually call it 1 centimeter. I know if I've got 100 centimeters, I've got 1 meter. The one unit that we do use in chemistry specifically is the unit in between the meter and the centimeter. And I've got it on this measurement here. There's 100 millimeters. It's also 10 centimeters. But guys, this from that point to that point is 1 decimeter. So you actually have a decimeter on your table in your pencil bag. So if you get confused or you get confused with the fact, what is this decimeter again? take out your ruler and say to yourself, well, 10 centimeters is actually 1 decimeter. So what do I have if I've got 22.4 cubic decimeters as a constant? Well, I'm just going to make it easier. I'm going to say this is then 22.4 decimeter. This one is 1 decimeter, and that is 1 decimeter. You have to be able to convert. And if you get confused with this, go back to the first section that we covered, dimensional analysis, where we do cover the conversion of units. So go back and go and click on those units and have a look at that again. Right, so we've covered decimeters. Now, just in case you wonder, if I've got gas like this is open in air, I do not know the volume at all. If I've got molecules like this in either a balloon, and you all know a balloon, or the one instrument that we use in a laboratory will be a syringe. So you'll have this glass syringe, and if you've got an experiment, you'll actually have the gases being deposited, and it's going up there and it's pushing this syringe to the back, and you will find gas molecules in there, or atoms. Can you see I'm filling the syringe, and the more gas there is, the more this will be pushed back. So it's interesting how we actually get to quantifying the volume. Right, let's have a cubic presentation here of 1 mole of hydrogen. So what do I know what 1 mole will be? Well, we've got it in our equation. 1 mole will be 22.4 cubic decimeter. That will be the volume of 1 mole, and that's on your information sheet. The same volume will be 1 mole of oxygen, 22.4 cubic decimeter. And exactly the same 1 mole of neon, 22.4 cubic decimeter. It's a constant, it's on your information sheet, and you need to be able to do calculations with it. Let's have a look at a few other gases. I've got carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, a compound, that's not the problem. It's the 1 mole that will give you the 22.4 cubic decimeters. Now, you will know that the molecule sizes will differ. Let's say, for instance, I've got carbon dioxide. It will usually look something like this. So I've got 1 mole. So I've got 6.02 times 10 to the 23 particles of CO2 in here. Here I've got 1 mole of sulfur dioxide. So I've got 6.02 times 10 to the 23 sulfur dioxide molecules. And here I've got peroxide, which is 6 times 0.2 times 10 to the 23 peroxide. So in all cases, I've got 1 mole, therefore I've got the same content of particles. Right, we've got a last picture of cubes. I've got air. Now you know air is around us. That is actually nitrogen gas, it's oxygen gas, it's argon. There's quite a lot of gases that comprises air. And you can go and have a look in your books. It will be there. Google it, and you can see there's few gases making up air. The one thing we're working now, we are working with the fact that it's 1 mole, and because it's 1 mole, it is 6.02 times 10 to the 23 particles, and the volume of that will be 22.4 cubic decimeter. 1 mole methane, CH4, will be 22.4 cubic decimeter, and 1 mole nitrogen monoxide will be 22.4. But, guys, very, very important. it has to be at exactly the same temperature and exactly the same pressure. Otherwise, it will not have that value. So you will see now, I'm going to explain to you how we quantify the, the temperature and the pressure, but it's important that you know that we work at that constant. Just another picture of gases. Can you see here? I've got gases that can move, and very important, it's a closed container. So it fills the entire volume by moving, and you've done a little bit of the kinetic movement of gases. I've got 3 containers here, different gases. Can you see here? I've got atoms. In this one, I've got molecules. Can you see this is a diatom? 2 of them bound to each other. And in the final instance, I've got a molecule again. So I've got the number of molecules, atoms, or whatever I've got in here will be exactly the same. 6.02 times 10 to the 23 particles. And particles can be molecules or atoms. And the one thing I know, because I've got 1 mole, that is 1 mole, at a specific temperature and a specific pressure, the volume will be 22.4 cubic decimeter. Right, let's have a look at that specific temperature and pressure. The molar mass for all gases will be 22.4 cubic decimeter if the one condition is met, and that is the standard. STP is standard temperature and pressure. And what is the standard temperature and pressure? Well, it is 0 degrees Celsius or 273 Kelvin. And the pressure will be atmospheric pressure, which is 1.01 times 10 to the 5 Pascal. This is also on your information sheet. So only when it's measured at STP will the volume be, this volume, 22.4 cubic decimeter. If there's an increase in temperature, if there's an increase or a decrease in pressure, that value will not be valid. And they'll often give you a different value. They might say to you, at a temperature of 50 degrees Celsius and a pressure of 2 kilopascal, the volume is, the molar volume is something like 45.8. Then you work with that value. But if they give you nothing else but STP, you will know the standard temperature, which is 0 degrees Celsius, and atmospheric pressure, which is 1.01 times 10 to the 5th Pascal. Right, what are they going to ask me to calculate? A gas syringe with a volume of 22.4 cubic centimeters is filled with carbon dioxide gas. And luckily for us, they're giving me the standard temperature and pressure. How many moles? So they're asking me mole of carbon dioxide is then in the syringe. Now let's have a look. My calculation can be done with my equation. I want to know what is the number of moles. I've got the value. They gave me 22.4 cubic centimeter, and I've got standard temperature as 22.4 cubic decimeter. Now guys, can you see I cannot work with 2 different units? I cannot work with cubic centimeters and cubic decimeters. So I'll advise you, when you start doing these calculations, immediately take the cubic centimeter. Remember, that was your cube. You've got 22.4 centimeter 1 centimeter and 1 centimeter, you've got to take that to decimeter. Now, the way to do it is to divide each of them with 10, or you could just say 22.4 divided by 1,000. Let me quickly explain. The 1,000 is then 10 times 10 times 10. And then you get this 1,000 as a value. So if I do that calculation, I then get a value at the top of 0.0224. I divided the centimeters with 1,000. And I've got decimeter square at the top, and not square, cube, and I've got 22.4 cubic decimeter at the bottom. And now I can do my calculations, and you now get an answer of 1.010 to the minus 3 mole, because that's what I had to calculate, carbon dioxide. It's easy if you know exactly what you're doing and taking it step by step, and have your pen ready. Let's do another example. Calculate the mass, guys, M, of 5.6 cubic decimeter oxygen gas, and they're giving me the clue at STP. So I'm immediately going to go to this equation to firstly get the mole. I've got 5.6, and luckily it's already in cubic decimeters. I know it's STB, so therefore it's 22.4 cubic decimeters. I can thus calculate the mole, and you don't have to write down the unit like I did. You can leave this. I'm just doing it so that you can see I'm working with the same unit. And if you now do your calculations, you will get an answer of, where am I now? 0.25 mole, and it's oxygen gas. But they didn't ask me the moles, they asked me the mass. So now I continue with one of my other equations. Can you recall we had that? I've got the moles now, it's 0.25. I want to get the mass, and I've got the molar mass. Now, the molar mass of one oxygen is 16, but because it's O2, you know I've got to add another 16, so it's actually 32. And your mass will then be 0.25 multiply with 32, giving you an answer of 8 grams of what? Of oxygen. So if I had that volume, I could calculate the moles firstly, and then go and substitute it in another equation. Finally, if we take the 3 examples that we did molar mass, that was in the one lesson. We did particles, and now we did volume. There's some relationship between the 3 of them. Firstly, you see all 3 of them will be equal to mole. So the molar mass, the molar particles, and the molar volume. So that's the one common ground for the 3 equations. The other thing that you have to know is that I'll always have that molar mass, because that's on my periodic table. I'll always have the molar particles, because that's Avogadro's number, and you've got that as well. And then finally, if you've got STP, the standard temperature and pressure, that will have a constant of 22.4 cubic decimeters. So you can interchange and work with all 3 of these. Just make sure that you isolate the correct equation, do your calculation, and then transfer. The one thing you have to know is that in all 3 cases, the number of particles was 1 mole, and that was that 6.02 times 10 to the 23. You will be using moles in all chemistry calculations. So make sure that you can do this complete good and that you don't make any mistakes. So know the definition of molar volume, define the standard temperature and pressure, and you've got to be able to state Avogadro's law. And Avogadro's law says to us that there will be 1 mole of gas at STP will have a volume of 22.4 cubic decimeters. Guys, and also make sure when you work with volume that it's in cubic decimeters. When you work with mass that it's in gas, in grams, and then particles, obviously you're going to use that number. So make sure that you work accurately. It's very nice getting all your marks because you clearly understand what you're doing. Enjoy. Bye.